You've heard of time travelers, people who vanish then return claiming the world isn't quite the same. You've read about glitches in the Matrix, flickering lights, moments when time stutters and reality slips. But what if I told you a man arrived at an airport with a passport from a country no one had ever heard of? A country that didn't exist, not in our world, not on any map, and never in history. And what if I told you that man vanished from a locked hotel room, under watch, without a sound, leaving behind only a rumor and a question that still lingers today? Did he come from somewhere else, or did he make it all up? This is the true story of the man from Taured, and it begins with a lie so bold, it became a legend. Tokyo. The city hums like a living machine. Airplanes buzz above highways pulsing with light. Japan is rising fast from the ashes of war. Precise, proud, efficient. And into this perfectly ordered world walks chaos in a suit. A man steps off a flight from Taipei. Tall, confident, late 30s. He's traveling with his wife. They say little, but they carry everything. At customs, the officer takes his passport and pauses, issued in a place called the Independent Sovereign State of Taured. He checks again, reads it aloud under his breath. Taured, it doesn't exist. Not in any record, not in any embassy, not even in imagination. And yet, the document is flawless. Stamps from Tokyo, Paris, Berlin. A visa approved by Japan's own embassy in Taiwan. The man speaks fluent Japanese. He's calm, he's polite, he's offended. I've been here before, he says. I'm here on business. You'll find my hotel reservation. I've already spoken to the company I'm meeting. They call the hotel, no record. They contact the company, no idea who he is. The man shrugs. I've stayed there many times before, he says. The customs agents bring him a map. Where is Taured, they ask. He scans the world, then points to the tiny principality of Andorra between Spain and France, but insists that's Taured. It's been there for 1,000 years. And that's when the questions begin. Why would a man invent a nation and walk into Japan with papers to prove it? Why would he lie? If the lie was this easy to catch, or is it possible he wasn't lying at all? With no explanation, officials place him under watch. They check him into a nearby airport hotel. 2 guards posted outside, the door locked from the inside. He is to remain there until they understand who or what he is. But by morning, he's gone. No sign of struggle, no forced lock. The window sealed shut. The guards insist. No one entered, no one left, and his passport gone. All documents gone. Even his existence seems to vanish. This is the legend. It spread like wildfire. A man from a country that doesn't exist arrives, confuses everyone, then disappears into thin air. Whispers began. He came from another dimension, a parallel Earth, where Taured was real, where he belonged. But he slipped through, and now he's gone. But behind the myth is a truth, stranger than fiction, a truth with dates and documents and a name. John Allen Kuchar Zagreus, that was his name, and he was very real. But what he did was something almost no one could have imagined. You see, Zagreus wasn't a time traveler. He wasn't a visitor from another world. He was a master forger, a man who lied so completely. He made governments believe in a country that didn't exist, and almost got away with it. The real story didn't start at Haneda Airport. It began months earlier, in cities like Bangkok, Beirut, and Cairo, where Zagreus had been traveling freely on forged passports. Documents so elaborate, so detailed, even experienced immigration officers believed them. One of those passports was from a place called Taured, supposedly issued in a city named Tamanrasset, a real place in Algeria. But Taured was not a country, it was a lie. He created stamps, coats of arms, embassy seals. He invented a nation and made it real on paper. When Tokyo police arrested him later in 1959, after he tried to cash fraudulent checks at a bank, they found his documents, multiple passports, multiple names. Some written in a language no expert could recognize, no alphabets matched, no origin found. His identity was fluid. He claimed to be a naturalized Ethiopian, a war veteran, a Royal Air Force pilot, an intelligence officer for President Nasser's United Arab Republic. He said he was on a mission to recruit Japanese volunteers for the Arab cause. He told stories so wild, they became believable, because the best lies always carry a drop of truth. During his court trial in 1960, reporters filled the room. The judge listened in disbelief. The man was articulate, eloquent, but everything he said, unprovable. He spun tales of espionage, of war, of torture, but in the end, none of it held up. As the verdict was read, guilty, 1 year in prison, Zegras did something no one expected. He bit down hard and pulled a piece of glass from his mouth and slashed his wrist. He tried to die, right there in the courtroom. But the wound wasn't deep enough. He was subdued, and the myth grew even darker. Who was he really? Why would a man go to such lengths? Why create a fictional identity so elaborate? Just to pass through airports? Some say it was a psychological condition. Others say it was a Cold War con. A man testing the limits of global bureaucracy, or a desperate fraud seeking attention. He served his sentence in Japan, then vanished, deported to Hong Kong, and never seen again. No country claimed him, no name matched his. Just gone. But the story didn't stop there, because years later, in British Parliament, a member of Parliament mentioned a man prosecuted in Tokyo who traveled the world with a passport from a country that didn't exist. And soon after, Canadian newspapers published the tale. But something changed. Taured became Taured, Tamanrasset became Andorra, and Zegras became a ghost. The myth began to mutate. Online, it became a legend of 1954. A man disappearing from a locked room, a parallel traveler, a man from another world. The original story faded, and the fantasy replaced it, but the truth still there, underneath the noise. John Zegras didn't come from another dimension, but he created one, on paper, in minds, in headlines. And today, we remember him not for who he was, but for what he made us believe. Maybe he didn't disappear from a locked room, but he disappeared from history. And maybe that's more mysterious than anything else. The man from Taured wasn't a time traveler or a spy or a ghost. He was just a man with a story too strange to be forgotten. And sometimes that's all it takes to become immortal.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more.